2, 1. Big, we're live. It is the local support kickoff meeting. We have Sam, that's me. We have Nick, we have Lezong, we have Brent. Lots of things have been going on. There's just all sorts of stuff. Maybe we should just start. And Nick is here as well. Hey there, Nick.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
yes. Two Nicks. I guess. So we should work out. Is there a preferred, like, the Nicola? Do you prefer being called Nicola or Nick, or does it matter, or what's the?
I have a second name. We can use it.
Sebastian. I mean, I guess maybe I could just call you Nicola and Nick, and we'll see. Yeah, or someone else who's like more on the ball. I haven't had my coffee yet, so I can't really make up good plans. But what I am planning to do here is get up a little thing and just maybe make a list of all the things that we want to address in the meeting. The meeting is kind of mainly for looking back, tweaking how we're working, and potentially voting on tickets that people want to work on. But okay. We've got lots of things going on. Should we just have we'll start with Nicola. So Nicola, you've got a few things on your mind that maybe you'd like to bring up in the meeting. Should we just get a list of what they are, all the things that you're thinking about?
The issues regarding the RubyMine report and the issues that are listed in Cold Climate. Some of them match, but I don't know how we should keep track of them. Other things that I would like to talk about are some issues that maybe we can just close because I think that they are pretty old and there are things that are not happening anymore, so we can close them. And I have other issues to ask some things about, but I don't know. All of them are listed in the shared folder that I shared.
Okay.
So
sure. And we'll come around to all those things. Nick, did you have anything that you wanted to? Any questions you wanted to get answered? Any things on your mind at the moment?
I'm looking at my notes right now. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries, no rush, and we can easily come back to you if you're not ready.
Okay, yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, and then there's no requirement to have any. It's just I'm a gabbler and I go on talking, and if I don't make a list of what people need at the beginning, then we maybe miss them. Now, Lenzon, I think you're kind of stuck on the event search PR. Yeah. Do you have any other questions or things that you want to get addressed in the meeting?
No.
Okay, yeah, so that's the main one. That's cool. Brent, anything on your mind?
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions about a ticket I've started today. So that's the what's the ticket? It's tracking clicks on the embedded map. Yeah, so I've got a few questions about that. Okay.
And then the things that are on my mind is the main thing is I want to try to complete like a production deployment, which I'm working on at the moment, and I keep getting distracted from. But I think that's I think everything else that covers there. Nick, looking back, was there something that you particularly wanted to cover in the meeting, or you're just happy to go with the flow?
I'm happy to go with the flow. I do have one question. I was looking at the installation section.
Oh yeah.
And it says to run rate. It says this is from the old installation notes. It has a note. Rate docs :app.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's still relevant because I try to run it and it just aborts out.
And maybe not. But we do have some related things here is that we would love to improve the installation process. We now have Adventures has C9 Education Edition, and so we can make any number of C9 instances. We could pre-install local support on many of them, and we can now make them available for free to people even without having to have a credit card in principle. So that's another option in trying to fix this issue there. Okay, cool.
That reminds me, Sam.
Yeah,
I was going to ask about that. So you sort of answered the question there, but it would be good to have one that we can use in the pairing sessions, a C9 instance. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe what we could do today is just make sure that everybody's on the team, or like to the C9 Agile Ventures team. And just, yeah.
I got one more thing.
Oh, go on, Nick.
The schema change. So I think Brent had noticed it a couple months ago or a little while ago. So on my fresh install, I got a schema diff.
Yeah. Indeed, and that's something we could be looking at and we can get into chatting about. Excellent that we've got all these things down. So lots to think about. Does anybody have any, I guess let's just quickly say, any retrospective notes on the process that we're using to run the projects? And does anybody have any tickets that they want to get voted on so that they can start working on them?
From the retrospective, I just want to thank the two Nicks actually for them joining the weekly peering sessions, because I think that they're working really well. So thanks, gents.
Yeah, absolutely, and well, loving all the pull requests as well. I'm going to do like, ta-da is not going to turn into a little explosion there, but it's like, oh, it's not nada, it's ta-da.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, well, and a huge big thanks to Brent for having the idea of the weekly pairing session and setting that up and getting that rolling. And that's a big, just wonderful. We don't have to prioritize voting on tickets. I'm just gonna mention, I did find there's a simple kind of friendly one that we could probably vote on. I just noticed. Yeah, I think if we have time, we could vote on that. That's about removing an old logo. I guess, Nick, you had questions related to this one, so we could be voting on that. Let's just have a quick look. I don't. It would be good. I think there's a couple of things here that would be good to get voted on. We have also got the async voter on as well, so we can use that in the channel rather than necessarily taking up the whole meeting time with voting on those things. Okay, so looking through all these different bits and pieces, I'm maybe just gonna pull out ones like some low-hanging fruit. So, oops. Yeah, so Lianzong, your thing there, I think that kind of needs. You've got the sort of the pull request saying the other person whose name I forget hasn't been available recently. You're a bit confused. So I think, definitely book a pairing session with me, or I think there are these weekly pairing sessions and others available. I guess are you aware of the weekly pairing session? What it is, Lianzong?
Yes, but it seems in my time zone it's not really fit me.
Okay, yeah. If that's not a good time for you, not a problem. Yeah. So I have got. I'll just share the link now. There is, if people want to book pairing sessions with me, you can do that on a one-off basis using this link, and it will show the pairing slots in your time zone. The idea the deal is, if you follow me on Twitter, then I'll pair with you for an hour. That's there are people who, the premium face-to-face members, pay for regular access, and so, but I want to make sure that new people get a chance, and you can pay me in Twitter followships or something, whatever they're called. I'm just trying to find Lianzong, make sure that you have that. I've had to cancel a couple of pairing sessions next week because I've got some events to attend, but just push forward ahead in the calendar and find somewhere where we can do a session. So that's that there. Let's have a look. I wonder, I think these things that Nicola brought up are the ones that are perhaps the most relevant to all of us, and we might have all input on. So maybe we could have a look at that. So Nicola, you just ran a RubyMine report on the whole system, and you were saying you've got some like sort of new stuff, new issues. Do you want to talk a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, some of them are just variables that are just hanging around. Some, I think that the main one is the amount of lines that we have per each method that exceeds 7 lines, and I think that maybe we should think in a pattern to use in order to refactor those methods. But I'm not sure, so be nice to talk about it.
Yeah. Go on.
Other things. One of the issues, I think it is, yeah, this one. Let me see. We'll share it here. The user, I think that it wants to implement FIQ page.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know how it thought that it would be implemented. For example, if he will have access to an administration page, and on that page he will write all the, I don't know, the title and the answer. How is that going to be displayed? We have a mock for how the view is going to be displayed or not.
Yeah. Well, so for example, if we look at this, this was added really quite a long time ago in 2013, and I think since that got created, we do have the ability for the administrator to like that we've got this whole static page system. So in principle, it could be as simple as just creating you know, an additional page that they can then pop things into. Like if we go to the bottom here, we've got these, you know, we could just add a separate page that they then could edit. I would be very cautious about doing anything with a ticket like this one, because really what we need to do is check in with the client if this is something that they still think is a kind of a sensible proposition. So I would be tempted to remove the, I know it was like presumably voted on a very long time ago. So, I mean, we could close it, or, you know, I mean, it's take this back to the clients to see if it's something they still need. I mean, I think if they did need it, we could, it would be almost because we've got the static pages, we could just create the page that they can edit, and it just goes. So, but yeah, I know that since they started in 2013, their ideas of what will and won't work and what are and aren't helpful for charities on the site kind of evolve over time. Yeah.
Can I share my screen to show
you certainly can. Please do.
report? Yeah. So I will share my screen, and here. This is the report, the same that is uploaded in the share folder. And I think that some of the issues that we have are pretty easy. So I don't know how you would like to receive a pull request about them, because even if some of them are the same that we have in CodeClimate, some of them don't. So I don't know. You will just receive a pull request that.
Well, what I would say, I guess I would say a couple of things there. In that, so yeah, there's lots of, I think, room for the code base to be improved. I think for any, you know, for any code issue that we have, whether it comes from a RubyMine report or CodeClimate, probably the thing to do is, for the specific code issue that you're thinking of fixing, is open a chore ticket. So, you know, if you found one from there and you think, oh yeah, I'd really like to work on fixing so and so, I would create, you know, what I would call a refactoring chore.
Perfect.
And then and put as much detail, you know, as you can, and then ideally before starting to work on it, probably get it voted on. And the reason I just say that is that sometimes, you know, while refactoring for these sort of abstract code guidelines is generally a good idea, sometimes, you know, it may interfere with something that we're about to roll out, something that's going to change, you know, we might. Sorry, I'm just taking a layer off. The way that we refactor it might suddenly be different if, you know, 2 or 3 new features come in that area, so to speak. So we kind of just want to make sure that, you know, we are, coordinating that refactoring. And so thus, you know, we're voting on them. And of course, you can start a vote in the channel on a ticket anytime. You don't have to wait for a meeting or a scrum. Is everybody comfortable with how to start votes in the channel? Sorry, Nick, go on. Nicola?
No, I didn't know that I can start a voter.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. And that's we have this you know, is a Slack command that we created. And so if we're in if you're in local support, so you can just start typing voter like this, and there's a little help thing which Brent implemented, which will tell us about how to use async voter. And then so you just do voter and you do that, like, so let's say hypothetically that you'd made a refactoring chore. I don't know, let's call it like shortening methods, who knows. But you just put in the title of whatever you think is, you know, a nice summary, and then you grab the link to it, and then you just slap that in there like that. And what it will do is it will start, a little vote. We were just doing it yesterday in the async voter meeting, and you can see it gives an interface, and then at the end you click reveal, and basically there's this kind of planning poker thing that you may have heard of, where everybody's voting on the story or the issue as, is it going to be simple, medium, or hard?
Okay.
And you have kind of a synchronous. Anyway, I'm probably telling you more than you need to know there. But
I didn't have an idea about that. So
yeah, so we'll maybe do some votes at the end, and then hopefully you'll feel empowered. Because the idea is that we shouldn't be blocked on these things. We should be able to, as I say, it's called async voter, that we can get started at any time. So yeah, so coming back to so does that that covers this set of things. Unless you have more. So there was several things that you'd highlighted about outstanding things in the board that could just be closed out. And did you? I think you posted them all in the Slack.
Yeah, if you enter the shared link that is here, Hangout.
Did you just post something into the?
Yeah, the first one.
Here. Yeah, this is the. You were asking about. So we've got a series of tickets here that could be closed out. I'm just trying and open those. Oh well, that link, that's to the all the different code climate issues, right?
Yeah, but inside you will find all the ones that can be closed. Because I don't know if I put all of them.
You put all of the issues that might be closed also into the drive.
Yep.
Right. I mean, I think we've got. So we've got this. Yeah. So this one, that's quite old. Right. That certainly seems like old, and yeah, I think we can definitely. I mean, I'll close that one.
Okay.
Oh, that didn't close it, did it? No, that just closed the thing. It didn't move it into a different status. Yes. I mean, that's so ridiculously old that I need to put that into a. I think we just trash can it. There we go. Yeah. I mean, that was from before. We originally were on a different database, and it was before we upgraded to Postgre. So, yeah. That one. I think we switched that to setup, so that can be got rid of. Okay, and then that's more recent, but again, or somebody updated it. It's certainly not a feature. With this, and you're showing, are there more? Sorry, go in here. Oh, actually, so this is the complete list of. Yeah, you've been through the whole thing, and there's many. You think there's many others that could be closed. Yeah. Okay.
If we should put Control F and close, it will highlight all the ones that I think that.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I think that's probably an action item. It's not so. I thought there might be things that we needed to discuss as a group, but it seems to me like that's just an action item for me to go through and close out the ones that need. Thank you so much for doing that. Action items there. Yeah, Brent did a similar review of old tickets as well before. Sam, review all of Nicola's possible closes. Great, thank you for helping clear out the board. Okay, yeah, wonderful. So, and then did you have some other questions?
Yeah,
arising?
they are there.
And they're all there. So
yeah. At the end, you will find.
Yeah. Okay. So I will try and address all of those, not just the closing ones, but all the questions. Okay. So unless any of them you think are urgent that need to be discussed with the whole team, I'll just do that at the end of the meeting myself.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Cool. So then we have well, Brent. So you're working on this individual thing, and you had a particular. Although this is probably the highest priority from the client at the moment. Do you think they're very? You have a couple of quick questions on this, or is it how involved is it?
No, I think they're quick questions.
Yeah, go on.
The first one is, so storing the data. My plan was to put it into a table or a log file, but I don't know if you can use log files on a Roku.
I wouldn't rely on it. No, put it in a table.
Put it in a table, and I'm struggling with the naming convention for it. Are we just going to call what shall we call it? Log. Do we want to call it a log? Do we want to call it click-throughs?
Click-throughs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. So that was the first question. The next question. I know this particular ticket is about tracking click-throughs from the embedded map, but do we think in the future we may track click-throughs from other parts of the site? Because I'd want to future-proof it if that was the case.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that we want to be able, it shouldn't be specific to the embedded map. In that, I think that we're interested who's clicking through on the volunteer opportunities and indeed the organizations, but it should be, we want to be able to track any time people click through on kind of resources in our site. I think but the particular focus is on these ones that link out to other sites that we effectively get it's where we don't get Google Analytics tracking because they're just going straight to that counts as exiting the site.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's all I needed to know. I can move forward with that now. Thanks.
Yeah, generic across outside embedded. Yeah, okay.
I just did have a thought actually. Maybe at the end, if we've got time, there was a couple of issues that Nicola and I looked at yesterday that I think need a bit more discussion. But only if we if we have time at the end.
All right. Yeah. Well, let's then go on to. So yeah, Nick, you were saying you found a bit of old documentation that was talking about running Rake's docs or running Rake Docs app. That looks like that might have been something like Railroady or what have you. Yeah, I don't even recall what that would have necessarily been doing. Do you have the location in the system to hand, or I could probably find it. Let's see, doing a search here. Box all. Although the punctuation, of course, makes it. And I may have. I mean, we've got a general issue that, as I think I was talking about the other week, the installation documentation, we should really turn that into a script that gets run as part of our CI. Oh, here we go. This is in contributing. Oh, right. Run Rake Doc API. Oh, to generate API documentation for your models. Right, that's notes from the original README. Interesting. So we do have. I wonder if that's from a gem that we had at one point and we removed. We have a docs directory which has those various elements in it. I wonder if that works on my system. LocalSupport. Bum, 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 bum. I don't know if everybody wants to just try on this. Okay, so it fails with don't know how to build task. And that would have been, you know, I mean, I think what we don't have at the moment is, I don't hear people clamoring to use this. So probably the simplest thing is just to remove it. We do use, I do use the Railroady gem sometimes to generate pictures of how, you know, the schema is all structured. But I'm just going to look in the lib tasks. Yeah, am I even looking at the right thing on the website one? So yeah, I would say there, Nick, and unless were you keen to get a kind of a view of those items? Is that?
No, I just saw it and thought I would try it out, but didn't work. So
Yeah.
I actually get a different output to you, Sam.
Oh yeah.
So I get. Let me share my screen. Yeah, so it's supported, but I don't get all the errors that you were getting. And we don't have to run it with bundle exec, do we?
We probably should if we're hoping to get consistent behavior.
Now I get the same errors as you.
Yeah. I mean that's maybe from, like, you know, the version of Rails has been upgraded probably since that was there. I think if folks are keen to see those things, then you know, we should put the Railroady gem in there. But so did I go and find the? Let's remove that. This is in the contributing doc. So let's just quickly remove. Oh, I have to go. Really? What? Well, oh, it's found it in an old version. Yeah. Can you get me back to the master branch? No, it's develop. Start on. Pop. Oh, go on. Here we go. Come back to develop. Come home. Here we go. Yeah, I would. It's funny. You know, you kind of end up, craft sort of accumulates around the project. Different people try different things out. But in fact,
it's doc app, not doc all.
Controller. Right. Doc. There we go. So I think we can just lose that. Yeah, because it's obviously like a confusing little. And I'm coming, you know, back in the day I was always like more cautious about these things, but I'm coming to the point of just like, let's gradually, you know, work things through. That reminds me of some things actually, which is talking about Gem and Ruby updates. I'll get to put those on there. Let's go here, pop that in there, Gem, Ruby updates. Okay. We could just try and make sure so I guess we've got, that was mentioned. When you said installation issues, you mentioned this thing. Were there other installation issues that you encountered that you think you need addressing?
Yeah, there were a couple. I got some notes on it. I can, I'm not, yeah, it'd take me a while to pull up my notes to find out what specific issues they were, but I got around it. Perhaps the documentation could be updated.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I mean, I think if you like, if you've got, we would love so any kind of PR, and don't have to do this, of course. This is entirely voluntary. But PRs on the documentation, anything that you think could change the documentation that would have allowed you to more easily get over those issues, very, very much appreciated.
Okay.
Or feel free to just, you know, if that's out of band, you know, collect the notes. I think you got some of them maybe in the local support installation channel, and push that onto us. It could be, if you don't want to do the change yourself, feel free to open a ticket in the repo of documentation. I had this local support installation issue. The documentation could be improved this way, and then we get someone else to do it.
Okay.
Is all good.
All right.
Whatever gets the information in there. I mean, I'm on, just as a sort of a side philosophical note, I'm kind of always on like, get the information out there, and then potentially someone can pick it up.
Okay.
Yeah. So then we could talk about. So then we could. At least I could just go to C9 here. So c9.io. So we've got an Agile Ventures team on C9, which we could try and give everybody access to. I think if I click there, will it take me to the team where I can potentially start adding people? If people have an email that they use in association with C9, if they pop that into the chat, I can, no, what is this? What does that add, a person or a workspace? Create a new workspace, account settings. Here we go. Let's go off there. Yep. Into got one then from Brent. Let's go in admin, add team member. There we go. So I've got the screen for adding team members. Copy those email addresses over here. That's Brent is in there. We've got Nicola's email address. So allegedly we can set people up for this, and this is the thing about C9. When they were bought by Amazon, it became necessary that you had to register a credit card in order to start using them.
But if you already have an account, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, if you already have an account, it doesn't matter. So it's telling me here that Lianzong doesn't have an existing Cloud9 user, so it's going to send you an invite. So hopefully you can join that without having to, what's the word? Without having to sign up with a credit card. Brent, I've made you an admin, which hopefully you should be able to. I think you should all now have options when you create workspaces to set the team as Agile Ventures.
Okay.
Can you just post the IDE link, please, Sam?
I can, although I haven't created a specific IDE, but I can make one. I can certainly make a local support shared pairing space.
Oh, right. Is there not a link just to the dashboard then? Is there?
Well, there's the confusing. The one that I have that I just went in through was this one that I'll just paste in there. I don't have an email from you, Nick, but feel free to DM me one in Slack.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Thanks.
So I could maybe leave you, Brent, to create workspaces in that team environment if necessary. Of course, reach out for help if you need changes there. So we started that process. Let's move on to Nick. You were talking about a schema change and a schema diff. Is there other things that you want to say on that topic?
Yeah, I'm not, like I said, it happened on a fresh install.
Oh, okay.
And it seems like it's relating back to the most recent change for the schema, to the most migration. And I think it was Nicholas who noticed this.
I had the same issue.
Yeah.
I did as well a couple of weeks ago, Sam, when I tried to build a fresh local support environment.
There's definitely something that I've got some strangeness on my local machine, and we had this very weird thing the other day, didn't we, Brent? Where we were trying to investigate this issue on my machine, and the schema appeared to have like strings in one part of the thing, and then when we looked at it like 3 days later, after I'd kind of done a session pulling in lots of stuff with Stella, it seemed like the schema changed.
Yeah.
And at the moment, I might be completely wrong, but my best explanation for it is that we did have some kind of migration that had been missing, or some kind of schema change that had been missing. There's some kind of inconsistency somewhere. And I think what we really need ultimately for this is we need this setup where the CI is running our installation script. We need a standardized installation script that like does the setup and you know does everything, migrates seeds, what have you, and that the CI like runs that as a standard, you know, to force us to maintain that script to be an accurate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because Travis CI is working with what is being pushed to production. So
right, and it also runs frequently. The danger is that when we've got, you know, if we haven't onboarded people for a while, then nobody runs, you know, go through the installation process. And we've got at the moment like Travis, the Travis file itself is kind of describing the installation process to an extent. So we kind of want, you know, rather than like, for example, this before script here, rather than having this be a series of things that are effectively documented in travis.yaml, what we want is to fixate on, like we want to, I don't know, clear out these Vagrant stuff into a different directory or just delete them. I don't know, anybody's using Vagrant at the moment. Same with Docker. I mean, just like remove them off the root so the root's not full of all these things. I mean, I guess I could do that as a pull request now just to clean it up. And then make it so we've got a documented Ubuntu install script that Travis is running. And do we have a, I don't know if we've got an existing ticket for that? We've got this, so it's smoothing the onboarding process there, where I think we've been talking about, yeah, outdated scripts and so on. Yeah, so that's, yeah, that's the ticket. If anybody wants to work on that, and we could even sort of start on that ourselves. I mean, I could just open a pull request and get things started on that. I was just going to look at other issues. Is there anything else that we? So we've that is now done. I've got to work on the deployment. Issues from Brent. I think we're getting to the point where we've covered most of the things that we had in the meeting. We haven't done any voting, but maybe I will push that off to be done asynchronously in the channel.
Okay.
Let's see. So
yeah, and Nicholas, if you want some help with that when you first time you do it, just give me a shout.
Yes, I will. Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah.
But so, oh gosh, what was it? There was one thing. Was a thing there. I guess the thing I was going to mention about Gem and Ruby updates, which we definitely want to do, if we're updating the Ruby version and so on, then we just we need to coordinate, because the Travis CI has to be changed as well to tell it, you know, which version of Ruby to run on. One of the things I've been doing with one of the other projects that we've got, Website One, which is similar in many ways, is using this Dependabot system to automatically submit PRs for dependencies that could be updated. It's a bit intrusive into the whole process, and I needed to change our flow. But when we're ready, when we feel ready, and we want to start going through a big party of upgrading as many gems as we can, we could switch this on, and yeah, as long as we're ready for it, because it means I have to like turn off some notifications so we don't get overwhelmed and so on. We can certainly do that. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, and I think when we're in a good place, it's probably a good idea as well.
Okay, but that it will be like after the pull request that I did, or before that?
Well, now, let's go. If we go and then have a look at the pull request that you sent, Nick. Go into local support. So what I would be somewhat cautious about is changing many things at the same time. So in this pull request, you're saying upgrade to the latest Ruby gems. So you're upgrading to Ruby 2.4.2.
Yes.
And there's a couple of changes in here, and then
yes,
you did like a bundle update. So all of these are updating at the same time. Okay, yeah. So that's, I mean.
And after that, I did a run of Cucumber and Airspec locally. So
and you got everything passing.
Yep, but it is not passing on Travis.
No, okay. So what you could do on, I don't know. So,
I don't know the code climate error that is.
Well, can you see here in the Travis.yaml?
Yep.
So for your pull request, you could just change this to 2.4.2 here. And then Travis will run at 2.4.2.
Okay, I will try it. Yeah.
So you could try that, and we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, the code climate, you know, I would also not necessarily, I think I looked at it earlier, and it's there are two like security issues. I guess what I would be, is that a 500 error from code climate? Oh gosh. What I would be, oh, there you go. So I mean, this is telling us about a particular client having this REST client having some security concerns. So I mean, that could be downgraded. But what I would be tempted to do, if it was me, is that rather than, so what you've kind of done, oh no, I've lost it. What you've done in this pull request is you've, as well as upgrading the Ruby version, you've upgraded the Rails version, and then lots of other individual gems. And so,
yeah, because some of the gems needed a version higher than.
Oh, sure. But what that does is that's making a lot of changes at the same time. I mean, it might be like, I would be tempted maybe to perhaps first update a few gems individually and get that pull request in, and then maybe do the Ruby up version and then the Rails version. Do you know what I mean? Like, rather than doing it all in one go.
Okay.
I might do it in a step-by-step approach, because even if all the tests are passing, we might discover that when we push the thing out onto Heroku, that it's caused some kind of problem, or there's some kind of issue or some difficulty because of the many changes. I mean, it's probably going to be all right, but I tend to be a little bit cautious.
Okay, should I close this?
Well, no. I mean, I think if you make that change to the Travis thing, and you could look into like just downgrading or whatever it is you need to do to get around the security issue, and if the whole thing is green, maybe we can go for it. So given that you can make potentially 2 small changes to make this green, that's great. If it turns out that actually it's more complicated than that, feel free to close this one and maybe submit one that just updates the Ruby version but doesn't update the gems, and we'll get it through.
We will go, step by
step. And then this is the particular thing, is what Dependabot, like I'll show you what Dependabot is doing on website 1. Is, I'm not sure it comes in terms of bundle of it, but it's sending me all these pull requests to upgrade the individual gems, and then it can run all the tests against those individual, and like each individual gem upgrade can be tested independently and then merged in, and you can sort of do it step by step.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
And then it keeps on going. Like, you don't have to like remember every few months to do an upgrade. It just stays monitoring. Anytime there's a possible upgrade, it submits a pull request, and you can see if it passes the CI.
Okay. Get it.
So, but I guess I would, in my mind, probably the priority is, can we sort things out so that the installation process is smooth? Although keeping all the things upgraded and security tight is important too. So many things. But,
yeah,
it's all good fun. Yeah, well, I think we've certainly covered many things. I am tempted in the background to just start on that ticket and start us clearing up towards, having Travis be able to run an install script. I don't know that I'll be able to finish that ticket. I'll welcome help on it. Brent, you did mention some other issues that you were encountering that we could get to at the end. I think we're sort of at the end now, so they could be addressed.
Okay, now. Let me just share my screen. Yeah, so it's one of it's the tickets that Nicholas and I have been working on, which is to make the site more mobile friendly.
Right. Yeah.
And there's a couple of things to discuss for discussion, but the one I'm really keen to discuss is this one here. So what we've found is, so Nick made the site available over ngrok, and we've been testing it on our, I think Nick was testing it on an Android phone and I was testing it on an Apple phone. And what we've noticed is that some of the Bootstrap widgets that are being used, one in particular is the login menu that drops down. When you try and use that on a mobile device, so we've got it so it looks okay now, but the actual functionality of it is not working properly. So what's happening is, as soon as you try and select one of the text boxes to put your username and password in, all that's happening is the drop down is closing itself.
Right.
And we think, so I did a bit of reading. It sounds like that we need to upgrade the site to use the mobile widgets rather than the standard widgets. Now, that's going to be a significant change, but it also means that the look and feel will change because the mobile widgets have a different like look and feel to it. So I think it's something we may want to speak to the client about.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that the client will probably be enthusiastic about it because I think they've always thought they would love it to have, you know, to look better on mobile. I mean, in particular, if it's a relatively straightforward change to make, that you could put it into a branch and we could get like a screenshot of what the new look and feel would look like, and we can show that to the clients, that would be excellent. And or do you think is it kind of an expensive operation to get a view of it for them to turn it down?
I don't know is the honest answer. I've done a little bit of research. I think it's a few hours worth of work because it's not just a case of swapping the JavaScript out. I think there's going to be a lot of like HTML scaffolding that needs to change as well. So I think there's a bit of time to do all of that, but it's probably worth doing. It's not a
I mean, I think that they will be pretty enthusiastic about it, to be honest, because these days, you know, whereas it used to be that mobile was a bit of a niche. I mean, it's mobile first. Like a lot of individuals will be reading their email. You know, if the site's being forwarded to people, they'll see it on their phones first, and so that's where people's first impression of the site will be. I mean, in some ways, the login is perhaps slightly less important because we just don't have a lot of users who are actually logging in. I think people are more, if they're using it, they're browsing it. So it's not like we're in a massive. We haven't got people demanding, we need the login functionality and the functionality behind it, like the admin stuff, like the admin stuff done by the admin, she'll do on her Windows laptop, and you know, for it to work on Internet Explorer is probably more important than it works on mobile. If you know what I mean. For like
So maybe we'll deprioritize that. We'll do all the other stuff first because that does impact people who aren't logging in.
Yes.
And then we can, work on that one towards once we've got all of the other stuff done.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fine. Thanks.
Cool.
All right. Good show. So was that anything else on your mind, Brent?
No, I would be interested in looking at the Travis thing with you, though, because that's something I'm interested in. I've never really used Travis before, so that'd be a useful thing for myself.
Yeah, we've got kind of 5 minutes now. I was going to maybe just put in a PR that just starts on this. I mean, I just thought I'd create a branch here and kind of maybe. I mean, it's so we've got the Vagrant files and the Docker files, and I think there's absolutely nothing. It's this kind of thing that, you know, when you're focusing on the stuff, you never get around to. But, you know, there's no reason why, you know, maybe they have to be in the root or something. But I'm just tempted here to create a new folder and put the Vagrant one called Vagrant and put it in there, and then people who are interested in what Vagrant and what Docker are can go and look in those folders, and if somebody wants to make them do stuff. Vagrant, Docker are the two things, aren't they? So I'll put that in there, and then
would it be worth putting them into a installation folder so that you've got like the different types of installations? Maybe, I don't know. I was just
it certainly could, and actually probably what we do want to do is put this. I mean, the interesting thing is, of course, the Docker and they may let's pop them actually inside there, because it's sort of become, who knows if they're really working or not, and it sort of becomes like, oh no, don't move. Okay, it's documentation on what some people contributed in the past, and who knows what's going on there.
Yeah.
If it's really, and I think, but what the main thing that it serves to do is it kind of clutters the root directory, and then we can't be sure what's going on. So let's get those here. Come on. I mean, of course, what needs to go in companion with this is improving all of the installation documentation. But so we'll move those two to there, right? So we've got other things that are like this. This must just be like like someone's got. I think that just must be that can't be a particularly important. That's like that just accidentally someone has done something.
That's setting up the prompt and things, isn't it?
Yeah, let's just delete that. Okay, we've got the VCR log. I don't know if that's checked in, but that's is that now, because we've got the issue of like, are some of these things in the git ignore? The VCR log is in the git ignore. So, but so what should we do? I mean, I think the thing to do probably also is if I take and I put another folder here, and I'll put like directory. And put old Ubuntu install scripts there, and then just move all of the whatever they are into there. Merge upstream sh. Is that actually on the root? I think we've got like, just end up with such. So there was one. Was there another Ubuntu? There's this one as well. So then we put that into there. Has it gone into there? Yes, here we go. All right. So at least that clears out the root a little bit. Let's have a look. We'll just do git status there. Let's do git commit -am clearing up old script. Actually, something that I'm doing on the website one project at the moment is I've been working through trying to reduce all of the cruft in the test output, and just I've got this idea of like code hospitality is just clearing space. So I just today on the website one, we had pending messages in the Jasmine tests and the RSpec tests, and I got in there and just fix them out so that ultimately what we want as little distraction when you're working, right? We need as few deprecation warnings, random pending things, to make progress. If that makes sense. Let's do a pull request on here. I mean, we've kind of finished. If people need to go off, that's fine. Or if people are interested in seeing me do this thing, that's good too. We've got a Scrum current. This address is. I'll go and get the link for the ticket, which is over here. Let's get that from Pivotal Tracker. Oops, pressed in the wrong thing. That's there. This commit doesn't actually finish this, so let's do that. That pull request is up, and I guess I want to go and look at if I'm on that branch and this is the wrong repo. Let's have a look at what set of things we have remaining on so we've got LocalSupport. We've got a new, where's branches? So you'll see my new branch, clearing up scripts. That's the new branch. So let's have a look at what we've got left on the. So in dot files, fair enough. I mean, some of those we've. So gem file, prop file, rake file, app.json, bow.json. Yeah, that's actually looking. That's looking reasonable. I think that merge upstream script should probably get moved into the just general old scripts. I don't know that it's necessarily in. Let's put it in there. Installation, like, yeah, fair enough. That could probably be deleted. That feels like that. You know, when we very first started the project like 5 years ago, and people were like, "How do you merge upstream?" And we get a script in there. I don't think anybody's using that. Move old script. So then, in principle, what we could do, and I'm going to stop in a moment, but is so we've got Travis, and Travis at the moment, you know, has like these things. I mean, I think ultimately we want to move away from doing from Bower. I don't know how we do it. I don't know why we've got 3 migrates in there at the moment. But I guess in principle, we could create a new Ubuntu install, Ubuntu install, and we could take the travis.yaml. We'll just start with. Yeah, that would be a sensible thing for all those things to be done, wouldn't it? Let's start with that and stick that in here now in Ubuntu install.sh. And so,
don't we need to run bundle as well before the other stuff?
We probably do, but I'm kind of in an under construction mode here. I was just going to pop this. I mean, I wonder if we need separate scripts. Maybe we need, like, this needs to be one. I'm just thinking about, in order for it to work on Travis, like, we want this to be one. I guess what else have we got going on in there? So in here, the before install, yeah, because maybe Travis automates running bundle.
Yeah.
We've got before install, Phantom.js version. If we're doing all this stuff that's specific to Travis, and then before script. I mean, I think I'm not going to worry too much about. I mean, it's maybe potentially misnamed calling it Ubuntu install.sh, but it's probably no more misnamed than the previous one. What I want to try is, can we just have here? Can we replace this with Ubuntu install.sh?
Yeah, it's probably worth just calling it install.sh, isn't it? And then do something in the script that senses what version of Linux you're running or Mac OS X.
Yeah.
And if there are any things where it's different, we can, you know.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Although I think Travis
is Ubuntu.
Yeah, as is C9.
Yeah.
And so we may be.
I'm just thinking then people can use it on their own local environments as well.
Yeah, no, it'd be good. Although what we want ideally is, of course, that we want a script. I guess even if it's switching on those things. But let's just see here if I add this to, and of course this just is in a separate branch, so we're not confusing, muddying the water of the main site at the moment. But so if we look here, we've now got, if I do git add install.sh like so, and git push, what is the git commit minus m try out accessing install script from .travis YAML. Five 50715. Okay. So, you know, and I won't be in a rush to pull in this script necessarily. I mean, there's potentially all sorts of documentation changes that need to go with it, but in principle, we will see it will now build, and we'll see if that's, you know, in this Travis build, if it picks up and it finds the script on the root, or if we have the permissions issue or what have you. So we'll see. But yeah, so for Nicola, yeah, do just go into the .travis.yaml, change the Ruby to 2.4.2.
Yeah, I already did it, and I just pushed the change.
Oh, hey, fantastic!
I'm waiting for the run.
Yeah, waiting for the. Yeah. That's one of the things with Dependabot. And it looks like, well, is it? And it looks like it's gone green. Yeah. So, oh no, this is, sorry, I'm maybe looking at a different branch. Yeah, here we go.
I think that we still have the problem with the cold climate.
Yeah. So
coverall is the sham that it has a dependency with REST client, and the REST client in the version 1.6.7, it has two vulnerabilities. So we have to upgrade coveralls version.
Yeah. Well, and I think also with coveralls, this has been really strange recently. Oh, it looks like that's passed. Cool. So you're getting there. I mean, maybe we can do a big upgrade to all these things, and you know, that's absolutely fantastic. Thanks for looking at it. Okay. Well, I think that's our meeting. We've got a separate Scrum, a kind of an all projects Scrum, which of course everybody is welcome to come to and sort of like bring up other items and potentially get other help and support after this meeting. Is there anything blocking anybody else? I guess I would just encourage people to start votes on these tickets if I don't get to them. I'll pop those in the what are they called, in the local support channel, and yeah, hopefully everybody's got access to the C9 Agile Ventures team, and we'll have shared access to workspaces and so on. There we go. Thanks everybody.
Okay.
Cool.
And Lenzong, yeah, do book a pairing session with me. We'll try and get you sorted out on that thing, and of course anybody else who needs to book sessions to like work on knotty issues. Let's stamp on those bugs. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So for now, everyone, see you later on.
Yep. Cheers.
Thanks very much.
See you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.